Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Rachel Elizabeth. Who are you? I'm not asking your name, although I'd like to know your name. That's not what I'm asking you. I want to know who you are. The question is, do you even know? What's up, y'all? It's Rachel Elizabeth. You're watching Real Talk with Rach, and I have an interesting question for you. Who are you? Most of the time, when you introduce yourself to someone, don't you ask what their name is, say nice to meet you, and then the immediate follow-up question is, what do you do? But isn't that kind of backwards? Because our identity isn't in what we do, it's in who we are. But our world has so flipped that upside down that now we associate our identity with what we do, with our performance, how good we are at things, whether we're enough or not, in whatever it is, instead of asking us who we are. And in that case, when's the last time you actually thought about who you are? Maybe it was really recently and you couldn't answer it. Or maybe you've avoided asking that question because you don't really have an answer. Maybe the last time you asked yourself that question, the only thing you could come up with was a list of descriptives based on things you do or roles you play. Husband, wife, daughter, sister, brother, uncle, job title, success, failure. Those are things you do. Those are things that we define ourselves by, we define others by, but honestly, that's not your identity. And then we could talk about the things that we try to chase down to put our identity in because we want to stand out in a certain way, because we all have this unique, innate desire to express ourselves, our uniqueness. And that's not a bad thing. It can be destructive if you go an unhealthy route with that, but who's to decide what's healthy or not? But we're getting off topic. The point is, our identity is not found in what we do, it's found in who we are. And if you don't know who you are, we have a problem, because everything that we do stems from what we believe about who we are. I've honestly been really working through my own belief about who I am for a while. And that's not because I don't know what my identity is or who I am, but it is because it's been really difficult to believe that because of past patterns and beliefs that essentially were based on lies. That's confusing. Let me explain. I now know, and I have known, but it's been hard to believe, that I am who God says I am. I was made in the image of God. I am beautiful, chosen, adopted, wanted, pure, excellent, beloved. I have dignity, I have purpose, I am valuable. I know all these things because that's a reflection of who God is. Those are reflections of His character. Those are things that He has said I am in His Word, in the Bible. And because I believe that that is true, because I know all those things about who I am, because I know who God is, now my behaviors reflect those beliefs. But in the past, when I was believing lies, I believed I was no good. I thought that I was what I did, and when my career completely shifted, I was lost. I thought I was a complete failure, and I still struggle with that sometimes. I wrestle with the idea that I'm not where I thought I was going to be in my career at this point in my life. And so that must mean that I am a complete failure. That must mean that I'm not worth anything. That must mean that I don't have any value. And if my bank account doesn't look like what I think it should look like, that means that I'm worth nothing. That means that I must be worthless. That means that I must be a complete and utter piece of garbage. Throw me out with yesterday's news, I'm trash, and what's the point of even trying to get to know me? Or what's the point of even trying at anything anymore? Because my life is worthless, I might as well just not be here. Those thoughts are based on lies, because my identity is not in what I do. My identity is not in lies that I believed about who I was. My identity doesn't come from what other people have told me about who I am. My identity doesn't come from achievements. My identity does not come from gold stars, accolades, grades, bank account, net worth. My identity does not come from skills, talents, labels, achievements, titles, degrees. My identity does not come from created things, from created ideas, from opinions. My identity does not come from past failures. My identity does not come from anything good that I've done. My identity doesn't come from anything bad that I've done. It has nothing to do with what I've done or what I will do. My identity is unshakable because my identity is in the unshakable God of the universe. I am a reflection of I am. In the Bible, God, for the very first time when he ever revealed his name to anyone, it was in the Old Testament, and Moses asked him, "Who should I say sent me?" when God asked him to go to the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, and tell him to let his people go because they were in slavery. And God answered, "Tell them I am sent you." I mean, that's pretty major. God's identity is so solid that he didn't have to say anything else but I am, which that's basically like all encompassing. It's character, it's value, it's priceless worth, it's uncontainable power, it's all authority, it's beauty, it's unchangeable, rock solid foundation, all in just those two words. So when you want to know what your identity is, where is that coming from? Who or what are you basing your identity in? I really want you to think about that. I challenge you, take out a piece of paper, take out your journal, answer that question. Tell yourself, who are you? And if you don't have an answer for that, that's something you really need to start looking for, because your purpose is innately tied to who you are. We are all unique. We are all fearfully and wonderfully made, and our failures do not define us, but neither do our achievements, because if you base your identity in your achievements, you're gonna burn out. You're gonna exhaust yourself, or you're gonna turn into somebody that you or nobody else likes, because we weren't made to perform. It is a part of life, but that's not what we were made to do. Our purpose is uniquely tied to who we are, and who we are is a reflection of the most beautiful being ever. The all-powerful, all-loving God. I was a little more inspired this week than I typically am, and by that I don't mean that I'm not ever inspired. I just feel like this was a really big issue, and I feel like there are probably going to be follow-up videos on this topic, because like I said in the vlogging process video, I'm sharing with you guys every week out of what I'm learning, what I'm wrestling with, what God is revealing to me. It's part of my process that I'm sharing with you. So I've in no way made it. I am learning and discovering right along with you, but I'm sharing that journey, and I'm trying to be as vulnerable and authentic and transparent as possible. And I just hope that we can do life together, and I hope this starts a conversation. Even if it's not a conversation with me directly, I hope that it gets you thinking. So here's a challenge for you. In the comments below, tell me who you are without telling me what you do. Okay, that's it for this week. I am so excited to read what you guys have to say. I love you guys. I'm praying for you. If you like what I'm doing here with this series, I would love for you to be part of my Patreon family. That's where I explain kind of more the motive behind all of these and the mission behind all of these videos. So feel free to check out my Patreon page. I would love for you to be part of the family. I'll leave the link right up here for anyone who wants to check that out. And I hope you have a fantastic week. I'll see you next time. Bye. If you watched all the way to the end of this video, in the comments below, I want you to tell me what your spirit animal is and why. Okay.